Step aside, Mazda. Hi guys, Eric here and welcome back to my channel. Today we will be having a look at this 2018 Nissan Micra 0.9T Accenta Plus. It has beautiful looks and its interior is funky and well made. Does it bring anything else to the table? Would you like to be mentioned in my next video? All you have to do is to make sure that you're subscribed to my channel and tell me what car this wheel design belongs to using the comment section below. Be sure to identify both the make and model. Let's see who knows most about cars. A really big thank you to the accommodating, thoughtful and helpful staff here at ASJ Motors. They have a huge selection of quality used cars located in two locations in the Overberg region. One is in the industrial area of Hermanus, the other is located on the main road of Verliersdorp. They are open for business, so be sure to check out their catalogue, link in the description box below. The Micra is a B-segment hatchback from Japanese manufacturer Nissan. The first generation Micra, also known as the March, was unveiled all the way back in 1982. It was a very light super mini to challenge the Daihatsu Charade and the Toyota Starlet. Its body was actually designed as a replacement for the Fiat 127, but Fiat went for the Uno design instead. The second generation was introduced in 1992 with much softer edges and more focus on safety, although it wasn't considered very safe by Euro NCAP, scoring only 2 out of 5 stars. Power ranged from 40 to 55 kilowatt for the petrol variants. The third generation Micra was introduced to the public in 2002 with very youthful and interesting style compared to its predecessor. This was the first generation to come to South Africa. It was made available with a host of features usually reserved for more luxury orientated cars like automatic climate control, keyless entry and a sliding rear seat bench. It was available with petrol and diesel mills and received a safety rating of 4 out of 5 stars from Euro NCAP, excellent for the time. The fourth generation arrived locally in 2010 with a much more toned down exterior, dare I say bland. In fact, it was mostly seen as a rental car. There was some substance to it though. It had an excellent drag coefficient of just 0.32 and was really light, which aided fuel economy. Like its predecessor, it received 4 out of 5 stars from Euro NCAP too. It wasn't as groundbreaking anymore though, considering the Polo received a full 5 stars. This is the 5th generation Micra in mid-range Accenta Plus spec. Power comes from a 0.9 turbo 3-cylinder unit which produces a very impressive 84 kilowatt and 180 newton meters of torque. Looks-wise, I think it looks great, much more interesting than its predecessor. The front looks hyper-aggressive yet attractive. In profile, it looks modern and expensive thanks to the blacked-out C-pillar and big 17-inch alloy wheels. The rear looks simple yet engaging and imposing thanks to those boomerang light clusters and a faux rear diffuser. So far, so very impressive. What is the interior like though? Step inside the Micra and the funkiness continues. And then some. Now this can be a good or a bad thing depending on taste. Personally, I love it, particularly the color combination. Orange is my favorite color, especially when paired with black, so yeah, I am happy. The general design is simplistic, yet robust and youthful. It strikes an excellent balance of looking interesting without being too polarizing. I haven't gotten to the best part yet. Fit and finish as well as use of materials are excellent. It feels very plush and premium from in here. Not only are there soft touch plastics on top of the dash, there's also the stitch pleather on the front fascia as well as on either side of the gear lever, exactly where your knee will be while driving. This aids driving comfort. Build quality isn't quite as good as some of its rivals though, particularly the center console. It feels a bit loose. Let's take a closer look though, starting with the door panel. Let's talk about the negatives first. It is quite devoid of colour, with the exception of the metal door handle and the silver strip that surrounds the plasticky feeling switches. It is rather dark and dingy. The design is neat and interesting though. The armrest is padded and wrapped in pleather, and the door pockets are a very good size. The doors themselves feel very solid as well. They carry a good amount of weight to them, and they close with a very German-esque thud. The steering wheel looks very similar to almost all contemporary Nissans, and this is a great thing. It feels expensive thanks to a generous amount of silver trim, premium feeling, well-placed buttons, and a leather-wrapped rim. If I have to nitpick, I would have preferred softer leather, but this is more than forgivable. The steering column is adjustable not only for rake but reach as well, so finding a comfortable driving position will not be a problem. The stalks feel extremely premium to use as well, and they are easy to understand. That's quite impressive. Turning to the dials, I love Nissan's instrument cluster design. It personifies simplicity. Big white digits on a black background make them extremely easy to read. You get an analog fuel and water temperature gauge, and it is framed with silver plastic. In between the two dials, you will find a full color drives information display. It communicates a comprehensive trip computer, some customization options, vehicle settings, audio information, outside temperature, and current time. It is controlled using the aforementioned buttons on the steering wheel. It is really impressive, if not quite the digital dials you get on some of its rivals nowadays. The same can be said about the infotainment system. Let's discuss the positives first. Well, its graphics are crisp for its age, you get a volume dial as opposed to annoying volume buttons, and you get physical shortcut buttons. It is also very well equipped with Bluetooth audio, USB input, auxiliary port, and screen mirroring all coming as standard. The problem I have has to do with the touchscreen and the software. It is rather intuitive to navigate the menus, but it isn't really responsive to my touch, and loading times are disappointingly long. The climate controls give testament to how premium this cabin feels. It is manual air conditioning that feels really expensive. In fact, they remind me a lot of the automatic climate controls you got in the first generation Audi A1. The accompanying buttons feel good to the touch as well. Turning to the seats, I find them truly impressive. Not only are they comfortable, they provide excellent support. It feels as though they are hugging you. What's more, on Tecna and Tecna Plus models, you get both speakers integrated into the headrest. That will impress the youth and the techies alike. The driver's seat is height adjustable as well, so finding a comfortable driving position is almost foolproof. With the design out of the way, let's discuss practicality. Storage solutions in here are very good. The undampened glove box is of a very big size. You get a similarly big tray in front of the gear lever, two rather narrow but deep cup holders, and a singular cup holder / tray behind the handbrake. The door pockets are of a good size as well, and you get integrated coin compartments. The only thing that I would have preferred is a center armrest and sunglasses holder. Other than that, it's very impressive indeed. As impressive as the Micra is from the front seats, it is as disappointing back here. It feels cramped. My hair is brushing up against the headliner, and there is only just about enough knee room for an average-sized male adult. It gets worse though. With the exception of a single pocket behind the passenger seat, there are no storage solutions back here at all. The seats are on the firm side as well, and the windows are really tiny. The windows don't roll down all the way either. It also feels like I'm sitting a bit too upright. This isn't good for anybody. The boot tries to make up for it by being a decent size of 300 litres. That is more than the previous generation Polo and Fiesta, but it lags behind the current generation Volkswagen. You do get a space saver spare wheel, but you don't get any grocery hooks, tethering hooks or 12-volt socket. The rear seats fold flat in a 60-40 split, but this results in quite a high ridge, and the boot lip is quite high as well. Well, that went downhill quickly. I do think that there is a market for a car like this though. Premium, but compromised. The thing is, I don't think Nissan has that premium brand image the same way Mini and Audi has. What is its driving experience like though? The Micra performs quite well here in the urban jungle. All the controls are nice and light and the turning circle is tight. Rearward visibility is rather limited though, and you don't get front or rear park distance control, so parking can be tricky, especially if you are like me and I've gotten used to the aforementioned mod cons. Another slight gripe I have has to do with the engine. It lacks a bit of low down torque, so it can be prone to stalling, especially when you have the aircon on. When the turbo kicks in though, it is a very strong unit, so lane weaving during rush hour traffic ought not to be a problem. Out of the twisties, and the Micra performs quite well. The steering is a bit numb, but it's direct, and there's very little body roll in the corners. The gearbox is quite fun to use as well. It's no Ford Fiesta, but it's not a dull experience either. Out on the open road, and this little B segment hatch continues to impress. The cabin is relatively well insulated from the outside world. The seats are extremely comfortable and the engine is barely audible. That's because even though it only has a 5-speed gearbox, the engine runs at a relatively low 3000 RPM at our national speed limit. One thing to keep in mind though is that overtaking does require some forward planning and a downshift or two. Also, because of the low profile tires, the suspension can feel slightly unsettled at times. Other than that, it's a good drive. When it comes to reliability, there is limited data available because the Micra is still rather new, but Nissan does not perform quite so well as a brand. According to the 2021 What Car Reliability Survey, it placed 27th out of 30 manufacturers. That does not bode too well for its B-segment hatch, mostly because it is such a highly contested segment. Speaking of which, when it comes to its rivals, you have quite a vast selection of competent cars to choose from. The best all-rounder will have to be the VW Polo. It has a bigger boot and much more interior space for rear passengers, but its styling is boring to say the least, inside and out. Then there is the Ford Fiesta. It is a blast to drive and has an excellent infotainment system. It has great engines to boot. Other choices include the Peugeot 208. It has a stunning exterior and an excellent interior, but the dealer network isn't that good and Peugeot reliability isn't known to be solid. The Hyundai i20 has interesting looks and great warranty, but Hyundai's parts prices are quite steep. Have a look at all of them. There is a hatch for everyone out there. The Micra is a very interesting offering in my opinion. It offers beautiful looks, a great looking, well-made interior and a good drive. Practicality is a massive letdown though, and considering that this is such a highly competitive market, I'm surprised that Nissan dropped its ball this badly with rear occupants. Forgive its lack of versatility though, and you will be rewarded with a youthful, fun car that is filled to the brim with character. Thank you so much for watching another one of my reviews. If you enjoyed it, please remember to give it a thumbs up as it makes a world of difference to my channel. If you haven't already, remember to subscribe and become notified of upcoming reviews. I have many lined up for you guys, so stay tuned. If you own a Micra and you would like to share your experiences, please use the comment section below. I would love to hear them. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Until next time, bye.